A country wild and unknown, right in the heart of Europe, with cascading waterfalls, untouched riverscapes, and rugged mountain ranges. Rare and endangered animals roam the valleys and mountains of the Peručica primeval forest. The untouched nature offers a pristine habitat and is a testament to the impressive ecological diversity. Bosnia and Herzegovina, barren beauty in the karstic south and untouched nature in the densely wooded north. Why are there wild mustangs on the Cinca mountain? How were the waterfalls along the Trebišat river formed? And where can one find stingrays and scorpionfish in Neum Bay? A stony relief of karst dominates the landscape of Herzegovina. The vast and solitary high plateaus of Mount Cinca are refuge for 700 free-roaming horses. In their search for fresh grass, salt and water, the wild mustangs cover many kilometers every day. These graceful animals have fascinated photographer and filmmaker Marin Mamuza for many years. Their ancestors were work horses. When the animals were replaced by machines over 50 years ago, the horses were set free. They survived the hard winters and hungry wolves, and their numbers continue to grow year after year.
Primili su me u krdo, tako da sam s njima. Šalim se, ja sam već jako dugo godina tu s njima i dosta poznajem ponašanje, kako se ponašaju. Većinom se ne može njima prići, ali ukoliko se smiriš i ukoliko im doneseš, ajmo reći, neku dobru energiju, oni će onda sigurno prići tebi, jer konji su dosta znatiželjne životinje, tako da uvijek žele ostvariti neku vrstu kontakta, bilo vizualnog, a nekada čak dođu i žele i dodir. Fascinira me u jednu ruku koliko su nekada nježni u svom dodiru, koliko su blagi i pitomi, a nekada kada se vide njihove borbe i pogotovo borbe kada je u pitanju parenje, fascinira me ta surovost i okrutnost. Znači, taj razmak osjećaja između nježnosti i jedne surove agresije koja je u njihovoj prirodi.
Marin Mamuza is concerned for the future of the Bosnian Mustang.
Još uvijek nisu ugroženi, ali trebamo uzeti u obzir da konji svake godine imaju prirast negdje između 50 i 100 jedinki. Tako da s vremenom i sa sve većim globalnim zagrijavanjem i sve snažnijim ljetima i sve većim sušama, taj problem će biti značajno izražen. Tako da potencijalno ljeti jako veliki problem može biti voda.
Water supply is a crucial issue for everyone. The dwindling water resources are also needed for the farm animals. The surrounding karst plateaus are valuable grazing areas, and cattle rearing is a vital source of income in the country. Furthermore, regular and intensive grazing is important to ensure the delicate ecosystem stays in balance. The farmers are also keen to find a solution To ensure the wild horses do not become a threat for their flock's water and food source and can continue to roam.
Naša ljudska povijest i konjska je išla ruku pod ruku, u svemu su nam pomagali konji. Evo sada napokon oni žive život radi sebe, ne žive život radi nas, što bi rekli, ne moraju tegliti.
Countless rivers have carved and shaped the landscape of Herzegovina. Over millennia, water has cut its way through the soft limestone of the Dinaric Alps. The rivers rush over the karst fields and through their underground tunnels before they break out to the surface again. For decades, this force has been harnessed for energy production. Plans for more hydroelectric power stations, as well as the cementing over of natural underground drainage systems, poses a grave threat to the complex river system and the water supply to the conservation areas. Even the country's largest cave, Vjetrenica, with its many tributaries, lakes, and over 200 animal species, is at risk. Representatives of local nature conservation organizations are here to monitor the status quo. Nikša Vuletic is responsible for the cave and is showing them the problem areas and the cave's most important resident, the oln.
Pređe iz onoga kad pređamo, znaš. Tu ima nekoliko rupa dole izbušenih. Viš izišao na stazu i ona na stazi ide i ona diše škrga, ona niti napuće. Znaš, da je znao to? Da. To ti je kod nje baš, mislim, to ne znači da može živjeti van. Baš ovo je sve nekada bilo puno vode.
Ali nikad nije bilo ovako.
Nije bilo ovakvu frazu nikada. 4 mjeseca nema vode. 4 mjeseca, ja.
A što će biti kad se prorade hidrocentrale? Znači, ako su sad ovako stanje u Pjatima, možete zamisliti kako će biti onda?
Sigurno će biti gore ako se nešto ne promijeni.
A šta napraviti?
Pojačati monitoring. Pa monitoring treba pojačati u svakom slučaju, ali naravno i neke druge stvari treba napraviti da bi se spriječilo to što se događa već. Ovo je signal za uzbunu.
Marlena Čukteras and her colleagues are fighting for 5 areas to be given natural park status to ensure they are not destroyed. The small cave, Mlini, is an important safe haven for 2 endangered bat species, offering them ideal living conditions. The cave is also the source of the Tihanya River, one of the most important in the area. It flows underground at 9 different points, each time re-emerging to a different name. It is best known and most impressive as the Trebishat River. On the riverbed, the presence of certain species, or lack thereof, are a simple indicator of pollution increase. Regular controls and measuring provide Marlena Čukteras and her colleagues with data which establishes the threat to the animals and the need for a legally protected area. Protecting the Trebishat River also means protecting the habitat of species that are endangered in the Mediterranean and even worldwide.
Pogotovo u ljetnom periodu kada je nivo vode manji, protok je nešto malo manji, također protok, odnosno brzina je sporija i onda, budući da je tu najveća tada koncentracija voćaka i povrća koji se zalijevaju i koriste se upravo ti pesticidi, onda jednostavno moramo mjeriti da vidimo je li ta razina, odnosno koncentracija povećana ili ne, da onda možemo nekakve druge aktivnosti pokrenuti.
Čisto je, a?
Samo jedno.
A kad bude dole, samo ćete usput, kupite što ima, pa ćemo se dole naći, to pokupimo i gotovo.
The environmental activists have successfully engaged the local community, especially the young people, to the issue of pollution. They organize canoe safaris, making litter collection fun whilst also gathering important data. It takes a lot of support to ensure the tight monitoring of the river is done effectively. Consistent good water quality is a prerequisite for the growth and preservation of these limestone tufa barriers. The countless waterfalls that flow over them are a natural phenomenon, a unique property of the rivers flowing through karst regions. The limestone tufa barriers are created by the deposition of calcium carbonate, which the water has set free from the limestone. The sediment only develops under very specific chemical and physical conditions. The organisms in the water also have a role to play. The plants, algae and moss are just as important in maintaining the natural balance as the water temperature, current and acidity level.
Kolika je temperatura?
20. Malo je hladnije nego jučer.
A pa kiša je padala?
Između 7 i 9, odnosno 8. Dok se osuši, bit će 9. Znači sve se to mora dogoditi na istom mjestu da bi onda ta sedra nastala. Međutim, ni to nije dovoljno. Ono što smo ovdje jako ponosni, a to je taj biodiverzitet koji je još uvijek očuvan i da postojanje tih modro-zelenih algi i ove cijele mahovine koje nastaju u tom procesu omogućava da taj proces bude i brži i bolji.
Just a small man-made change in the chemical balance or the water flow could swiftly destroy what nature has built up over millennia. Further north, karst fields dominate the landscape. Rivers carve their way through the limestone of the Dinaric Alps, disappear underground, and gather into lakes. This rugged landscape, with its funnels and bowl-like sinkholes, seepage zones, and underground labyrinths of streams and shafts, is a rare natural phenomenon. The karst fields of Bosnia and Herzegovina are a landscape of great natural and cultural importance. Many of these fields are underwater for parts of the year. The returning floods are crucial to ensure the preservation of the above and underground ecosystems. The fertile karst fields have been used for farming for millennia. They are an important grazing area for farm animals and provide a habitat for many different birds. Biljana and Goran Topic have been developing different methods to protect the delicate ecosystem. Birds of prey, such as the short-toed eagle and the lesser spotted eagle, highly endangered in Western Europe, can be found here in great numbers. The two ornithologists regularly observe the bird populations on these fields. Buzzards and golden eagles are particularly common and enjoy a plentiful food supply all year round, as well as the conditions they need for breeding.
Ptice su jedan od najboljih bioindikatora, odnosno pokazatelja stanja životne sredine i prirode, i zato je izuzetno važno da se provodi redovan monitoring tokom dužeg niza godina. Jer svaka promjena u brojnosti i u sastavu vrsta ptica na terenu ukazuje na promjene u staništima i daje nam tačno određene smjernice gdje su se te promjene javile i šta treba da uradimo da bi se stanje vratilo na početak. Imamo ovdje nekoliko ptica, imamo sa druge strane nekoliko ptica koje love. Možemo na ovim tu ravnom dijelu.
Biljana and Goran regularly catch and tag the birds for observation purposes. Today, they've spotted some lesser kestrels on the field they would like to examine and tag.
Pošto mreža je vidljiva pticama, njiše se i lako je vidljiva pticama, ali probat ćemo.
As the winds get stronger, the net becomes more visible for the birds. Getting them into the nets is becoming less and less likely. A final attempt with unusual bait.
Baš je propatila.
Mislim da je vidjela boljih dana.
Morat ćemo da je vodimo na novu frizuru.
Da, ne znam da li će reagovati ptice, nisam sigurna. I uške joj fale i sve.
The eagle owl is a feared thief and a threat for the other birds, who will try and force it from their hunting territory.
Očekujemo isto, imali smo već iskustva, da sitnije ptice, naročito vetruške, ali i vrane, napadaju sovu i žele da je oteraju i onda se hvataju mreže. Sad, mreže su, malo je jači vetar, mreže su se napuhale, pa su vidljivije, vidjet ćemo rezultat. Ajde. Gledaj.
Ima jedna ptica. Opet je promašio. Ne, nadlijeće ih za malo.
A vetar duva. Duva vetar i pomera se mreža.
The bait didn't do the trick. No bird in the net this time. The mighty peaks of the Prenje Mountains reach into the skies. This massif is in the heart of the Dinaric Alps in the north of Herzegovina. Its 11 peaks are over 2,000 meters high, known to the locals as the Himalayas of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The cold mountain offers a special habitat to very unique species, organisms that have survived the Ice Age. The ancient and diverse flora and fauna, many of them only growing here, are a treasure trove for modern science. Emine is a herpetologist, an expert in amphibians. The biologist has been researching the animal kingdom of Bosnia and Herzegovina for a decade. On the high-up karst plateaus, the Mediterranean and continental climate meet, creating unpredictable and extreme weather conditions. The snow blanket can last until May. Tough conditions in which only a few animal species can survive. Amphibians have been especially good at adapting to this hostile climate. One can usually find the yellow-bellied toad near a water source. It belongs to a genus of fire-bellied toad and is no larger than 5 centimeters.
Tipičan je element ove planinske faune, vodozemac je dakle u pitanju. Ovo je jedan mali primjerak, otrovni su i naravno imaju ovo obojenje na stomaku žuto kako bi prepali svoje predatore, da ih obavijesti da su stvari jako otrovne.
Pa dobro, jel ti dosta za danas?
Ma kakvi Riki, kontam još malo gore se popit. Prima otišu tamo i onda u stazu negdje, čim pređemo granicu od 1700 metara.
Ja bi rado išao s tobom, a sam žulj dobio na nozi.
Ejš, a večeras ćemo skupa.
Večeras okej.
Kad moramo, kad bude vlaga i orosilo, kad idemo u lov na daždevnjake, morat ćeš.
Možda sam te već pitao grebenom da se ide ovako. Prema botilima.
At 1,700 meters, the vegetation on the Prenje Peak becomes scarce, but the hardened animals can still be found. Emine is after one in particular, the alpine salamander. The biologist has been examining the animals since 2013. They prefer the caves and underground tunnels of this karst massif.
Fascinira me to što je to životinja koja je, znači, bukvalno hiljadama godina na planeti Zemlji. Mi, da kažem, kao ljudska bića nismo ni bili u planu i programu, a on je već tu u bistvu hiljadama godina. I dakle, on je preživio sve te katastrofe planete Zemlje koja je doživjela ovina meteorite, znači sve te velike kataklizme. On je sve to preživio i dalje opstaje i zauzma upravo tu specifičnu nišu koja je jednostavno izdizajnirao se da bude funkcionalan u ovakvim uslovima, a ovi uslovi su jako sirovi.
When the sun sets behind the peaks and the ground becomes moist, the little black salamanders, the kings of the Prenje, come out of their caves. Emine starts her search just before midnight. Riki, a friend and experienced mountain climber, is assisting her.
Aha, evo ga, Riki. Ajde, stavi ga u vrećicu.
The first catch of the night is a prime specimen, an adult male. The animals are examined and tagged with a microchip.
Važna vrećica mora da bude, da se ne bi se sušli i da se dobro stegne. GPS uzmamo tačnu koordinatu nalaza.
Ovdje se upisuje i teren na koji je nađen. 12 sati ćemo stati 20 minuta.
Kako?
The animals are sedated so they don't suffer during the examination. Everything is photographed. Physical characteristics, weight and length are documented. The monitoring which Emina Shunye has been carrying out since 2013 is the first such research project in Europe and has the potential to shed light on these creatures with fascinating capabilities.
Je daždeljak u stanju da prekrije odsječeno tkivo embrionalnim stanicama u stvari koje dobivaju signal da se razviju novu ruku. I tako u stvari iz tih novih embrionalnih stanica narase nova ruka. A mi nemamo te embrionalne stanice. Zato u stvari kod nas uzimaju iz pupčane vrpce kad se dijete rodi, jer to su stvari stanice koje imaju veliku moć da se pretvore u bilo koje stanice koje nam trebaju.
After the examination, a microchip is inserted under the animal's skin. This way, it can always be identified.
Muško. 9,03. Mi markiramo životinje s ovim tagom, jedinstvenim kodom, puštamo ih gdje smo ih i našli i naredni put na terenu sa skenerom skeniramo koliko novih životinja na terenu imamo da nemaju tag u sebi, a kad nađemo na one koje već imaju, onda uzimamo određene tjelesne parametre i gledamo kakav je taj body mass condition, da li se mijenja fitness životinje. Prilično probut nego kontam.
The karst landscape holds ancient clues to previous cultures and civilizations in Bosnia and Herzegovina. High above the source of the river Buna towers the grand Stjepna fortress. This view, stretching over the valley and Buna and Neretva rivers, has been enjoyed by Illyrian, Roman, Byzantine and Bosnian kings alike. One of the most beautiful places in Herzegovina is the town of Počitel. It was probably planned as early as 1383 under order of the first Bosnian king. The Ottomans then made it into one of the most modern cities in the region. The mixture of Oriental and Mediterranean architecture still leaves a lasting impression today. Jadranka Dizdar was born in Počitel. Like many others, she left her hometown in search of work. The vet returned 10 years ago and makes a little extra by selling the fruits from her garden.
Počitel je magija. On vas vraća. Moraju ljudi osjetiti godišnje, barem jednom ili u 2 godine, taj zrak, taj kamen, taj sam osjećaj, kažem, silaska i popeti se kroz ovaj grad. To ima svoje. To jednostavno možda i riječima ne može da se, koji je osjećaj, puno puta ja siđem niz cijeli grad i sve mi je nanova dobro, lijepo. Doživljavam ga nekako, živim ga. Živim taj Počitel.
Only a few people still live in the stone city. The birds have made themselves at home in the abandoned houses. A kestrel family has moved into the old watchtower. The lesser kestrel also likes to pay a visit. The fertile region along the lower course of the Neretva River offers abundant food for the birds and other animals. The Mediterranean climate and its hot, dry summers guarantee sun-drenched, fragrant fruits.
Hercegovina vam je Kalifornija, što naš narod ovdje zna reći, jedna blagodet, jedna rijetkost evo, u cijeloj možda Evropi sa ovakvom i klimom i sa ovakvom bogatstvom proizvoda koje nudi ova škrta zemlja, suha, ali evo plodna i blagorodna, ja bih rekla.
The green beauty, as the Neretva is known in the country, is the most important waterway in Herzegovina. Its source is southward of the capital Sarajevo. It is the only river that has broken through the mighty mountains of the Dinaric Alps, creating impressive gorges on its journey to the Adriatic Sea from north to south. Dense woodland runs along the upper course of the Neretva River. Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the most forested countries in Europe. More than 60% is covered with trees. Wood processing is the most important branch of the economy. It is the country's gold. The forests are also home to many wild animals. The vast and undisturbed areas offer plenty of food and a sanctuary to thrive in. Orhan Nikšić grew up with wood. He's a fourth-generation carpenter. His family make traditional carved furniture. His grandfather taught him the trade and also passed on his love for the material.
Drvo za sebe je jedan divni organizam, da znam da drvo nije samo materijal, da je to materijal koji potiče od šume, od drveća, što je živo biće. I drvo, koje kada je posečeno i kada postaje materijal, ima jednu posebnu toplinu za koju mi osjećamo potrebu i vjerovatno drvo nikad neće izaći iz mode.
Orhan Nikšić is looking for the perfect trunk. Since he and his brother took over the family business, they have been making pieces conceived by architects and designers.
Šta nama treba velikog prečnika, nešto za ovaj novi proizvod, da su lijepi godovi. Ne znam dokle...
Nije daleko. Ovaj tisto je veliko, ali nije.
To je nepravilan dosta. Ovo je planinski. Pravi hrast. Hajmo probati ovaj izrezat pa ćemo vidjeti. Ja pretpostavljam da će biti dobar.
The masterful craftsmanship from Konjic has been on the UNESCO list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity for 4 years. The floral, ornamental style is typical of the traditional Bosnian-Herzegovinian furniture that the Nikšić brothers craft, still true to their grandfathers' and great-grandfathers' designs. The design world is enthralled by the modern yet traditionally handcrafted pieces. A new venture, an art project.
Pod svakim uglom drugačije izgleda. Rezbari se 2 puta. Prvo se rezbari da bi se dobilo ovo udubljenje, a onda se letom naglašavaju godovi u strukturi drveta čim predmet dobija jednu dodatnu taktilnost.
The business has been an international brand for 10 years, a fusion of contemporary ideas and traditional craftsmanship.
Danas je više fokus kroz rezbarsku tehniku, ne samo na vizualnoj estetici, nego na taktilnosti samog proizvoda, jer taktilnost je, kao što znate, elementarna ljudska potreba, a mi živimo u svijetu koji iz dana u dan postaje više virtualan i gubimo tu mogućnost za dodirom, za taktilnim osjećajem, i mi kroz predmete koje radimo pokušamo i nadoknaditi dio taktilnosti u svijetu u kojem živimo.
Ramsko jezero seems almost surreal with its endless islands. A landscape of captivating beauty despite being man-made. Already in the 1950s, large dams were erected alongside many of the rivers. The artificially created lakes do not just boast an impressive size, but also a vast array of wildlife. Nature has taken over. The Jablaničko jezero is an artificially formed lake on the Neretva River. It is 30 kilometers long and up to 70 meters deep. The Neretva flows into the Adriatic Sea in Croatia, something only a few people know. Bosnia and Herzegovina also has a coastline of just 7 kilometers. In Neum Bay, biologist Andrej Gajic is examining the effects of pollution on the water and its inhabitants. His area of expertise are sharks and stingrays. Its closed shape, a bay within a bay, offers an isolated area and the perfect conditions for monitoring the water and the organisms within.
Prije svakog zarona, kod dolaska na teren, mi suštinski pregledamo stanište od interesa sa ovim bespilotnim ROV-om koji u biti nama daje direktan prikaz stanja na dnu i daje mi mjeri mi parametre vode koji su meni od značaja. Tako da bih mogao pravilno da isplaniram zaron koji ću napraviti večeras, na primjer, moram da obiđem terene od značaja prije sa njim. Na osnovu temperature i stanja na dnu, odnosno muljevitog sedimenta koji vidim, ja ću tačno znati koja su to staništa koja mi večeras trebamo posjetiti.
The camera on the underwater robot gives a good view of the bottom. It looks for biotic communities and solid waste. These are the areas Andrej Gajic is most interested in and where it's worth taking a closer look with the diving equipment underwater.
It's 25 meters, 26.
The visibility is not always good. The stingrays are the focus of his research. Andrej Gajic has discovered 5 different species in the bay, 3 of which also rear their young here. Groupers only rarely make an appearance in Neum Bay.
Ovo je jedan od lokaliteta koji bi sigurno trebali posjetiti, ali također bi bilo iznimno dobro da zaronimo uz obalni dio da možemo posmatrati kako je to turistička sezona utjecala je, pošto je već pri kraju, na kotilišta i na druga staništa od značaja za naše istraživanje.
Fish are more active at night when there are no people in the sea. The perfect time for Andrej Gajic. This evening, he's being assisted by Hrvoje Gavrančić, an experienced diver.
Hoćemo pogledati ta nestališta raža što imaju tu dole, koliko? 5 do 15 metara dubine.
Detaljno vrijeme nam je idealno i možemo tamo do dubine od 20 metara pa ćemo naći tačno mjesta gdje smo već ispitivali prošli put.
Da, sad ćemo da pogledamo da li ima nekih tragova oštećenja, odnosno da li ima tragova uticaja teških metala i drugog tipa otpada na same životinje. Kad uđem pa ću na mjesto.
Ajde, dobro.
On preteško sad nositi.
The dive allows the biologist to get a close look at the bottom and the life down there. The murky bottom means visibility near the shoreline is mostly very bad. At first glance, there seems to be little life here, but he knows exactly where to look. This baby stingray has swum unusually close to the shore. Just like the stingrays, scorpion fish also prefer it down at the bottom. As does the squid, the true camouflage artist. Andrej Gajic is particularly interested in the marbled shiver ray. The species is well known for stunning its prey with an electric shock.
Proteklih 7 godina na ovom lokalitetu priobalnom ovdje jeste upravo utjecaj sve veće turističke da kažem, potražnje, ali i zagađenja na razvoj bolesti kod raža koje se kote u ovim vodama. Ono što primijetimo svake godine jeste sve veći broj mladih, što je jako dobra vijest, a i ono što je još bolje od toga da su one zdrave, da se kote u jednom većem broju i da je ta populacija njihova ovdje stabilna. Na sreću, za razliku od brojnih vrsta elastobranih, one su još uvijek najmanje zabrinjavajuće, ne samo ovdje, već i u širem regionalnom dijelu.
The animals which are dissected and examined, Andrej Gajic gets from the local fish market. This little shark is unwanted bycatch. The digestive tract is most interesting for the scientist, as is the stomach contents of the dead animal. This is where he can assess how much plastic the fish has ingested.
Ono što je jako interesantno jeste da mi pokušavamo ne samo da otkrijemo na koji način zagađenje utječe na živi svijet, već i kako možemo smanjiti negativni utjecaj zagađenja. Bilo da se radi kroz uspostavu lokalnih zakonskih legislativa vezanih za zaštitu vrsta ili staništa, ili čak kroz međunarodne sporazume, pošto životinje za razliku od ljudi ne poznaju ni granice, a ne poznaju ni ove krizne situacije koje se nama dešavaju.
Inland from Neum Bay, only 15 kilometers from the Adriatic Sea, lies the nature park Hutovo Blato. The marshland consists of various lakes which are connected by a canal network, which is fed with water from the river Krupa. It is a unique wetland in the Mediterranean region. The aqueous area boasts hundreds of different types of flora and fauna. Hutovo Blato is one of the largest wintering grounds and most important nature reserves for marsh birds in Europe. During the migration times, the area hosts up to 240 different types of bird. The pygmy cormorant from the cormorant family is a permanent resident. The reserve has been a protected wetland since 2001, thanks to the Ramsar Convention. Yet the biologists who work in the park are worried for the future. The building of new hydroelectric power stations along the surrounding rivers is a serious threat to the delicate ecosystems here. The tributaries will be dammed to collect water needed to power the station's turbines. The water flow to the marshland has already gone down by 50%. The park wardens have laid traps at 2 spots. The fish population is measured at regular intervals. Irena Rosic is in charge of the monitoring. These waters host 44 fish species, only 5 of which are endemic. They can only be found here. The opening and locking of the turbines affects the water level and also the quality. This has serious repercussions on the underwater world. The invasive alien species which were brought here by humans are also becoming a threat to the endemic fish.
Pokazuje nam samu raznolikost vrsta koje su tu, pokazuje kakav je mrijest, da li je mrijest bioaktivan, recimo u taj 5. mjesec, znači evo jasno je vidljivo iz tih malih jedinki da je mrijest bioaktivan kroz 5. mjesec, pokazuje brojno stanje, znači koje vrste su brojnije u odnosu na druge, pokazuje nam znači da imamo sve veću tu pritisak aloktonih vrsta i da one polako dominiraju i preuzimaju stanište. Samo to nam pokazuje biti da je i voda vjerojatno drugačija, da su ti fizikalno-kemijski parametri trenutno u korist ovih aloktonih vrsta, jer ove vrste preferiraju toplije vode. Pa ćemo mi sada vjerojatno kroz mjerenja temperature vode i kvalitete, znači znati omjer tih nekih podataka koji će nam pokazati zašto su sada ove ribe tu. Mislim, to je još uvijek čak okej.
96,2. Dobar je kisik.
The examinations have shown that increasingly warm and polluted water from the reservoir is flowing under pressure through the open turbines and reaching deeper into the relatively unaffected areas of marshland. The cold water areas, mainly inhabited by the endemic species, are becoming smaller and smaller. Nenad Spremo is moving along the narrow tributaries of the Krupa River. A small kingfisher has been caught in the net. The ornithologist is tagging birds in the nature reserve. The kingfisher and the great reed warbler are just 2 of the 256 species the ornithologist has documented so far. Just as it is for the bluebirds, this is only a brief pit stop on the long flight to Spain or North America. The birds are collected early in the morning and at dusk. Nenad Spremo and his colleagues check the nets every 15 minutes. This is very important to ensure the trap birds do not become too stressed and exhausted trying to free themselves. The net is delicate enough to ensure that they cannot come to any harm.
Pa osjećam veliku draž, veliko zadovoljstvo dok ovo sve radim i dok prstenem ptice. Da ne osjećam to, ne bi se s ovim bavio. Naravno, svjestan sam naučne vrednosti svog tog rada koga obavljam, tako da me sve to zajedno i emotivno i stručno veže da bi radio ovako nešto.
The Hutovo Blato marshland lies on the migration route from northern and central Europe to Asia and Africa. It's the last stop the birds have to tank up some energy and gather their strength before crossing the Mediterranean. The large area, overgrown with reeds, is an important resting place, especially for the smaller birds. In 1 month, the ornithologists have caught and documented 700 birds. The kingfisher is one of the most beautiful and skilled of them all. Before Nenad Spremo tags the birds, he examines them for parasites, measures their wings and estimates their body fat percentage. If the tagged animal is caught again, many insights can be made into the species.
Ovo je mužjak, ovo je mladi mužjak. Sljedeće godine će imati potpuno plavo, znači imat će apsolutno plavo sve ovako čitavu grlu. Još je to u nekom prijelaznom periodu od mlade ptice kao odrasloj, tako da će još da izmitari, imat će potpuno plavu grlu. I ovako je sad poprilično lepa i atraktivna ptica. Ima crveni ovaj rep, isto koji širi, plaši potencijalnog predatora, neprijatelja i tako. Ništa puštamo.
Abundant marshlands, unique karst fields, wild rivers. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a country with impressive landscapes and pristine wildlife. Yet it is all under threat. The endemic species are in danger of extinction, their last natural habitats in danger of disappearing forever. Conservationists are working tirelessly to stop the destruction and save one of the last natural jewels that Europe has to offer.